a church hymnal carried by abolitionist Harriet Tubman, shackles used to restrain our enslaved ancestors, and a Barack and Michelle Obama exhibit. These and 400 years of artifacts and historical information detail the African American experience at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. The goal for developing the museum was to create a sacred space of newly curated materials to show the extraordinary history and culture of people of African descent in America. The National Museum of African American History and Culture was over 100 years in the making. Starting in 1915, African American Civil War veterans raised funds to create a beautiful building suitable to depict the Negro's contribution to America. In 1929, President Herbert Hoover appointed Black leaders to plan a national memorial building. However, no money was ever appropriated for this purpose. Other local museums opened in the meantime to collect and disseminate information about the history and culture of African Americans. For example, the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American Culture in Detroit, the California African American Museum in Los Angeles, the Pullman Porter Museum in Chicago, Illinois, the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center in Cincinnati, Ohio, and the Northwest African American Museum in Seattle, Washington. Fast forward to 1988, Congressman and civil rights leader John Lewis introduced a bill to create the museum. He continued to put it up for vote during every legislative session until it finally passed in 2003. In that year, President George W. Bush signed legislation to establish the museum. In 2012, the groundbreaking took place with President Barack Obama, and the building opened in the fall of 2016. According to its founding director, Lonnie Bunch, the National Museum of African American History and Culture stands as a clarion call to remember. Its collection grows daily to include current historically significant items, proving the ongoing and persistent relevancy of African Americans, past and present. It reopens in September of 2020 after being closed during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. As it reopens with new exhibits and programs, the museum proves once again to have weathered the storms of history.
Understanding African American history is the best way you could understand America and understand yourself. So I didn't want people to think this was somebody else's story. I wanted them to see how this was the quintessential American story and that they don't understand themselves without understanding that story.